BBC reported something that looks as if it was 100% wrong. As long as that account got closed down because Nigel Farage is a Brexiteer, they don't say anything sinister about that. Well, they damn well should. Welcome to Beadwatch. I'm Kevin O'Sullivan, and if you work for the state broadcaster, I'd look away now, because the big question I'm asking this week is your licence fee worth the money? The answer is, of course, no. It's been a bad week for the BBC yet again. And remember, I'm watching the BBC, so you don't have to. First, it's the scandal that just won't go away. If you thought this week was bad for the BBC, you should have been there last week. That's when the Huw Edwards saga emerged. The BBC is now investigating this. Here's what the Director General, Tim Davie, told MPs when he was called to give evidence to a parliamentary committee.
It's difficult to give you a precise time on that. The reason is because you have to go through that diligently, assess the information. There's also duty of care concerns within that. So on that one specifically, because I'm not in control of all the variables, that could take weeks or it could take a couple of months, depending on, or even longer, depending on what we get and managing the individuals involved flawlessly.
Wait a minute, did he just say a couple of months or even longer? I mean, what is wrong with this organisation? Why is it going to take them months to work out whether or not Huw Edwards did this? There are other people making allegations about Huw Edwards at the state broadcaster as well. But I don't see why it's going to take them months, or as Tim Davie says, even longer, to investigate this. Could it be, just call me cynical, that they're trying to kick the can down the road until we forget all about this? They've got form in this area. Are they trying to do it again? Mr. Davie, who in fairness is the only person at the BBC who seems prepared to take the heat on all of this, went on to say that the BBC now has been in touch with the complainant and the complainant's family. So that probe is continuing apace. But when I say apace, that pace seems to be rather slow. Apparently, we might hope for some kind of answer to this situation, some kind of confirmation or denial that Huw Edwards is guilty of these alleged offences or not in the autumn. So set your watches. The BBC is promising to come up with a report, but not anytime soon. The long-suffering Mr. Davie was also asked about the future of the BBC licence fee. Currently, of course, we're all paying £159.50 for what we're assured is a series of fantastic programmes. Where are they? I've never seen any fantastic programmes on the BBC, but there you go. It turns out that Tim is very keen on hanging on to the BBC licence fee, and with inflation, the state broadcaster hopes fairly soon to be charging us all £172 a year for their excellent services, for the brilliant programmes that they produce, for David Attenborough, for the documentaries, for the dramas, none of which seem to be very good to me, but £172. The question really is, though, that's a fantasy. What is going to happen to the licence fee? It has to go down, and the BBC, if it does exist in the real world, which seems doubtful, is going to have to work out how it goes forward. What will be its new business model? Because we're not paying for it for too much longer. Will it be subscription? Will it be advertising? Will it be sponsorship? My favourite solution to the BBC's cash problem going forward is that they might introduce product placement and merchandising. So you're going to have the guy reading the 6 o'clock news, probably won't be Huw Edwards, but whoever it is, you're sitting there with a can of Heineken or something and going for a packet of McVitie's biscuits. So that might be your BBC future. I'd quite like that, it'd be funny. I think we've all been following with some concern, some alarm, the saga of Nigel Farage and his bank account. His bank account at Coutts, the top people's bank, it's where the royal family put all of their money, has decided to shut Mr. Farage's account down. When he revealed his predicament a couple of weeks ago, he stated that his view was that the bank was closing him down because of his political views. Now, the BBC subsequently, their business editor, a guy called Simon Jack, went onto the airwaves triumphantly to say, no, 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 it's not sinister at all. They're not closing him down because he's right-wing and they don't like that. They're not closing him down because it's another case of pathetic corporate virtue signalling. No, no, no. The real reason they're closing him down is because he hasn't got enough money. You have to have millions of pounds to have an account at Coutts, apparently. This now turns out to be 10 tons of claptrap. It's not true. Nigel Farage has seen documents that prove that the real reason Coutts closed his bank account down was because his views, his right-wing Brexit views, did not, and I quote, align with Coutts's purpose and values. So it was a political decision, and the BBC reported something that looks as if it was 100% wrong. This is typical of the Liberals, the North London Liberals who run the BBC, that they don't see anything sinister about closing down someone's bank accounts because of their political opinions. As long as those political opinions are right-wing, as long as that account got closed down because Nigel Farage is a Brexiteer, they don't say anything sinister about that. Well, they damn well should, because it won't be long before left-wingers start getting cancelled as well. If the pendulum swings, they'll do it the other way round. But the BBC, oh, it's right-wing. They're, oh, look, brilliant, we found out that actually it's because he hasn't got enough money. Wasn't the case. And by the way, I know people who've got accounts at Coutts who have got nothing like £1 million. That is not a criterion for getting an account at Coutts. You have to be a certain type of person, a top person, a sort of member of the royal family, but it isn't about having millions of pounds. So Simon Jack, the business editor, probably should have known better, but there you go. A story one day, a non-story the next. That's it for this week's Speed Watch. Let me know what you think, whether you agree with me or not, in the comments box below. And if you want to help me get a Coutts bank account, why not subscribe to TalkTV for more Speed Watch? In the meantime, I'm off to get a few well-known high street products so I can place them in next week's show. See you then.